Thank you so much. Just wanted to thanks everybody for letting us be here today, this afternoon. We are really grateful for the time that you have. I know this is a topic very a little bit out of the normal topics that Latin IT normally address, but we believe that it's another piece in the puzzle of ways to residents to be connected and for people to really understand how to better uh, be involved in decision making and how this can be actually impact the quality of their life. And so I believe that the same as the health system, the same as the education system is complex here in the United States, especially for Hispanic Latino community members. The city also can be very complex and the county even more, I will say. And so that's why we, with Paola here and Lola, had been working together in several spaces, trying to bring this presentation and inform residents and people, community about what exactly is the city, how it works, and why it's important for community, for residents to be involved. And so in order to do that, I want to just start sharing my screen. Hopefully I will do it right. Uh, there you go. So as you can see,
Can you put it in presentation mode? Perfecto.
it is.
Perfect.
It is. Okay, perfect, wonderful. So you see the people over here. You might be familiar with some of the people that you see, the faces. These are the people that represent the community. These are the people that are in the city taking decisions for the well-being of the community. And most importantly, this is the people that you voted for, thinking that they will do a good job representing the needs of the community. So this is one of the pictures that we wanted to share this time because we really wanted to um, see a little bit of what is important to be connected in this process. So again, my name is Maria Padilla. I am Community Engagement Strategist. I work for the Community Partnership and Engagement Department in the city, and I've been working there for about almost 4 years. And with me, I'm going to let Lola present herself.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present. My name is Paola Roland, or you can call me Lola, either or. I typically go by Lola because people will say Paola or algo así, and it can be a little bit, I don't want to correct everyone. So my name is Lola Roland. I am the Deputy City Clerk with the City of Durham. I have been in this position and with our office for almost 6 years. This is Maria and I is probably maybe our fifth or sixth time with this presentation. Obviously, we cater it to our audience and we change what's necessary. I would encourage anyone who has any questions to either drop them in the chat or raise your hand. I'll be monitoring both of those things. So please, we encourage questions. We encourage, discussion. If you need any clarity on anything, we'll be happy to give it. So I'll let Maria lead us on to the first slide.
Yes. And so the city of Durham operates under a council manager form of government. And so, for one side, we have the mayor and the city council. They are elected by residents and they're responsible for setting policies, approving budgets, and making major decisions for the city. So, as you can see, provide political leadership, adopts new policies, approve the budget, appoint the city manager, and promote city interests at the local, state, and federal levels. While the city manager work under the direction of the mayor and council, running the city's daily operation efficiently, implement the budget, implement new policies, execute contracts, communicate regularly with the mayor and the council. So, in other words, the city council decides what the city wants to accomplish, while the city manager decides how to implement those decisions at the very end. So, based on this piece, it's important just to inform that when we think about decisions, it's not just one side piece. It's not the mayor taking a decision. It requires a whole world of people involved into the decision. So that's why sometimes decisions can be very complex to take. Here we have how the city has been organized. So as you can see, this org chart shows a very vertical setting, and this is because the mayor, the city council represents the residents. So if you think about this piece, we will say the residents are coming first. And so because of that, everybody behind it, it has to take those as a consideration when they do the work. And so we're very proud to say that we all work always into the benefit of provide a good service to the residents and try to inform, educate, be present, and try to resolve the matters in a very fast-paced environment. And so below the mayor and the city council, you will see they have the city manager. But on the sides, there's two important people that is important to mention. And for one side is the city attorney's office. And I will say the city attorney's office because we don't have one attorney, we have several of them. And the work that they do is very complex because not only they provide legal advice to the mayor and council, but also to staff, but it also review contracts and represents the city in legal matters. So if you participated in a city council meeting, on a work session meeting, you will see that the city attorney always is in those sessions because they are there to make sure that everything that has been decided is under the law. And from the other side, we have the other great group that is the city clerk. That is where my super friend Lola is, where they basically are in charge of everything running smoothly in the city council meeting and in the work sessions, because it's very hard to put everything together. So they are preparing city council agendas, maintains official records and meetings minutes, supports boards, commissions, and public meetings as well. And so they are basically in charge of having all this information ready beforehand. And those documentation, you can find it in the website online weeks ahead of the session. And this is important to share with you because if you want to be part of one of those sessions or you want to know what discussion or what issues are going to be addressed in a city council meeting, um, make sure that you visit the website and download the information because that's where you can also start deciding if you want to participate, comments, inform, or do something about that particular issue. Also, we have on the other side the Durham One Call office. And I think I'm going to talk about that one at the very end because I feel that for the residents and for the community, this Durham One Call service is very important. And I think that we don't use it enough. And then we also have the other services, but of course we have it. You will see that we have deputy city managers. I want to also say that there has been a reorganization process that happened last fiscal year on July 2026, the 2025, where the city manager decided to restructure different departments. And so before, for people who might know me before, I was part of the Neighborhood Improvement Services Department that no longer exists. They closed that department and divided the divisions in that department to be part of other departments that now is the community partnership and engagement that you see down below, and also another one that is the housing and neighborhood services. And so it is important just to let you know that now this is the distribution of the city. So if you see the names of the people that are responsible or leading this, you can see them there. So basically, as you see, there's so many people, so many departments, and then divisions that are part of the city, that the city manager has a very challenging work when it comes to connect with all the different people that do the work. And so for that, the deputy city managers are the main role is to inform the city manager about what is happening in the different departments and what has been, and address all the issues related to whatever department are doing. And so we just wanted to share how this works and how the office work and the people that is involved in every single department right there. So the city mayor, so as you see, as you know, the mayor is the elected leader for the city and serve as the presiding officer of city council meetings. So his role is to lead city council meetings. He serves as president of the city council. He appoints people to resident boards, communities, and commissions. He votes on all the matters. The mayor facilitates consensus and balance among council members, and he reorganizes the city chief officer. So his role is obviously very important. And just think of the mayor as both as a community leader and as a facilitator who helps guide council discussion and decision making.
I'm sorry, Maria, can I just chime in there? Because sometimes I think that there's a lot of perception that the mayor has a lot more power than he actually does. He cannot make a sole decision by himself. If council wants to make a decision, it has to come from a majority vote. So there has to be, since there's 7 people in city council, there has to be a majority of 4 people to make any decision for any kind of policy making. Also, I want to be clear about what the mayor doesn't do. So he doesn't, he's not like a school principal or like a company CAO who directly manages everyone every day. That is the job of the city manager. The city manager is the one responsible for running city operations and managing city staff. So just wanted to make that clear distinction. Thanks, Maria.
Yeah, go ahead. She knows more about what she's doing because that's what she works in the clerk office. So jumping anytime because I know that we you can add way more stuff about the things that we have in this presentation. And just so you know, this presentation, we're doing it for these purposes in this meeting, but what we were doing before with Lola, it has been providing to the community health workers with a kind of class where we have been able to even provide a longer version of it with more specifics of what is happening in the city of Durham. So we're just kind of like condensing everything in this presentation. Well, once you learn what is the mayor position, we want to talk about the city council. And so the city council is a Durham legislative and policy making body and the final authority on the city's affair. So appoints the city manager, the city attorney, the city clerk, and members of boards, committees, commissions, and task forces. They approve the strategic plan on annual budget, authorize contracts on behalf of the city, and promulgates ordinances, resolution, and decrees. And so, for example, in the city, if the city wants to build a new park or improve streets, that's when the city council ultimately approves those decisions based on the information that they get around the different people that are related to the specific issue. And so the work that they do is not easy to do, is not an easy work, and involves a lot of their involvement in community when it comes to those decisions. So you will see them participating in many different spaces in the community to make sure that they can actually get involved with the knowledge of what the residents are thinking or how specifically those decisions have been affecting their lives or their spaces. So we have two different people in the city council. So we just separated in 2 big groups. So we have the city council at large members, and you might be familiar with Javiera Caballero, which is now the mayor pro tempore at this time. Also we have Nate Baker and Carl Reese. So in these large members, they represent the entire city, and they focus on issues that affect all Durham residents. So they basically work in a citywide perspective, or just thinking around everybody, and the decisions that they take is thinking about all the residents in Durham. That's why they are at large members. Lola, you want to jump into something about them in addition?
Yes, that was a great, of course, recap, Maria, that you always do. I just want to say that these at-large members, along with the other set that Maria is about to talk about, which are the ward members, all of these people serve a term of 4 years. While the mayor is elected every 2 years, and they're always done in groups. So at-large members are always elected at the same time, and ward members are always elected at the same time. So next year we'll have this set of at-large members are going to go up to be elected along with the mayor in 2027.
Great. Yeah, that's important for you to know about the elections time because this is the people that represents your interests. So this is why we really wanted to uh, create this awareness in the community about the importance of being connected in decision making. So the other group of people that we have is the City Durham of wards. And so what it means, they are representatives of the geographic areas of Durham. And so the city of Durham is divided by districts, and they also put it as a wards. And each district is separated, and I am not going to get into the specific districts because it's going to be a little bit more long. Um, but just to have a reference, I'm just going to say, for example, District 5 is around the downtown Durham. District 1 is about the Holloway, the 70, over 70. District 2 is all North Durham. And District 3, it's west, northwest Durham, and where is the Duke University, where is the 5501, all the area. So it's really divided, but that has been the way that everything has been kind of like operates in the city. For this particular reason, and also for the purposes of the police department, for example, and even in the engagement department, we also have been working around districts because that's the way that we can operate and engage better with community, with residents about what is going on. So they basically represent specific geographic areas, as I said, and then bring neighbors' concerns and priorities to city council discussion. So, for example, a ward representative may advocate for traffic improvements in their district, while an at-large member may focus on citywide transportation policies. So that's a little bit of the difference between each of them. But all of them have been elected as well. And based on where you live, that's how you can see who will be the best representative for your area.
Maria, I'm just going to chime in on that. Just because a city council member is a designated ward member does not mean that they cannot advocate on behalf of citywide policies and vice versa. So if I am an at-large council member, I can still advocate on behalf of my community and where I live, depending on where that ward is. And then I forgot on the last slide that I didn't explain what the mayor pro tempore means. And that means that they just serve in lieu of the mayor if he isn't present. So if the mayor is considered the presiding officer for any of these meetings, if he is not present, that means Councilmember Mayor Pro Tempore Caballero will step in and act on his behalf, and she will become the presiding officer. This designation for Mayor Pro Tempore is selected by the mayor every time he is reelected every 2 years.
Thank you. Another thing that is important to say about these particular people is that this is where residents, community organizations, and groups can also connect with city decision by inviting them into the discussion. There have been many organizations that do programming activities, outreach, mostly workshops, panel discussions, where they invite these people just because they need to hear what exactly is going on. And from the perspective of the Hispanic Latino community, I feel that there's a lot that can be done for important organizations that are in Durham, and it is important to invite these people to be in the table for those conversations. So I've been seeing a couple of them sometimes in events. The last one I saw Matt Kopak and the event organized for the Youth Forum for Gun Violence in the Hispanic community, and I feel that that was something very important that he accomplished because now he can understand better. And Matt actually is bilingual, so he speaks Spanish very well. So those are spaces where you can also think about inviting these people that represents your interest when it comes to organizations working with community.
Really quick, we have a question in the chat, Maria, from Ann Fields. Is a mayor pro tempore always an at-large member? No. The mayor pro tempore can be a representative from each of, so there's a total of 7. The mayor, even the mayor, the mayor pro tempore can be an at-large member or a ward member. They don't have to just be an at-large member.
No more questions?
You got it.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna finish my part, and then Lola is after me for with the other important piece of this presentation. So this piece is about talking about the city manager, and I think that this is important because, as we mentioned before, sometimes residents people think that decisions about changing a road, decisions about improving the neighborhood, decisions about transportations are taken just from the city council and the mayor, but this is not how it works. The city manager is a very important component in the decision making process because he is the bridge between the city council and everything that is happening internally in the different departments. So when a resident have a concern about a specific issue, the city and they express it in the city council meeting, the city council is going to ask the city manager to bring the people involved into this concern, to talk about these issues, to try to understand what are the different barriers, concerns, and nuances in the process of what they're doing, to then bring it back to the with some potential ideas of what can be done, or simply to inform what the decision has been made in a certain way. So those are kind of like the processes that works. But and the city manager also is responsible for management of the city activities and services. Let's say that there is the big manager for all the staff that work in the city. Oversees the organization's day-to-day operations. That's why we're saying that he reorganized certain departments internally in the city, and that might be something that some people were confused about what happened with certain departments. So that's what it is. He implements policies and programs adopted by the council. He prepares the budget for the council consideration. Right now, we just finished the budget meetings. It happened last week, Lola. We had
So
two very. Are
we
you
had two
still?
budget work sessions, but we have an additional one scheduled for tomorrow morning as
Yeah.
well.
So I will invite everybody. Lola is going to explain more about how to get involved into these things, but I will really invite people to watch in the YouTube channel those conversations around the budget, because those were a very intense conversations with a lot of inputs and insights from the different perspectives of what is going on. Just as a general idea for you to know, the city of Durham is the only city at this time that didn't raise taxes, as opposed of what happened in Raleigh and Cary and Morrisville. And that obviously is beneficial for the residents, but it comes with a price that behind the scenes affects other issues that might that we always are going to be a concern for residents, right? And so the main reflection in these positions is that whatever decisions we take for the well-being of the community always is going to affect other members or other groups. And so always we're going to have people that are going to be very happy with decisions and people that are not going to be happy with decisions. But the main important piece or the key point of this is how we really understand those decisions that are being made and how involved we are in those decisions, rather than just go for the just first layer of information and thinking that they are doing fair or unfair things around the community. So that's why I feel that it's very important for community and for residents to participate in those spaces, to watch what is happening, to see how decisions are made, because that's how later on is going to affect um, their your spaces or where you are. So with that, I'm just gonna leave Lola to continue. Just gonna mute and go ahead.
Thank you, Maria. Next slide, please. Okay, so thank you so much, Maria, for that recap of City Council and for the City Manager. I'm just going to talk a little bit about our City Council work sessions and our City Council meetings. So what is a City Council work session? A City Council work session is a meeting where the mayor and City Council members, they study issues, they ask questions, they hear updates, and discuss items before making final decisions at a regular City Council meeting. So to put it very plainly, a work session is where City Council basically does its homework. And all of these items are coming from departments within the City of Durham. So what happens during a work session? They hear presentations from city staff, so staff could explain a project, a budget item, a policy proposal, or just an overall community issue. This is where questions are asked, so council members can ask for more details. They can ask for costs, for timelines, or possible impacts on residents. And they can discuss the ideas and opinions that they have on these items before coming to a final vote. So many items are discussed at a work session first and then placed on a regular meeting agenda for a formal vote at the city council meeting. So formal votes typically don't happen at work sessions, but they can. They also get updates on city projects, and this could include things like housing, transportation, parks, public safety, water, street improvements, or neighborhood improvements. And then they may ask staff to bring back more information before the item moves forward. So city council work sessions happen on the second and fourth Thursday of the month, depending on whether or not the holiday schedule adjusts for it. And if there is a holiday on those days, we typically note that and move it and adjust accordingly. And it happens at 1 p.m. and they can last anywhere between 1 hour to 6 hours or longer. I've seen it happen before. So is this work session the same as a regular meeting? No. A regular city council meeting is where council takes official action, such as like voting on ordinances, resolutions, contracts, budgets, and appointments. A work session is more focused on discussion, review, and preparation, and it helps council members understand these issues before making final decisions. Lastly, can the public attend? Yes. All meetings held by the city council are public meetings, and any member of the public can attend. Residents can watch and learn about issues being discussed. Public comment rules may differ from regular meetings, work sessions, and depending on the agenda and meeting format. We do allow public comment at all work sessions and all regular meetings. Next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry. There was a question in the chat. I wanted to see. All right. Is the mayor, okay, who chooses the city manager? This is a great question. So the city manager is appointed by city council, along with the city attorney and my direct supervisor, the city clerk. So the city council appoints these three individuals. And do they have a term? They do not have a term. They serve at the pleasure of the council. Typically and historically, people who are appointed into these positions will retire from them, and then a new person will come and be appointed by the city council. I hope that answered your question, Ann. All right, next slide, please.
Although I'm having trouble trying to move the delay. Next slide. Oh, there you go.
All right, city council meetings. So these city council meetings happen on the first and third Monday of the month at 7 o'clock. The city council hears priority issues from council members, the city manager, city attorney, and city clerk. They vote on all city business at these council meetings. So this is where they approve contracts, the budget, which is a very big one, which we're about to approve on June 15th. Ordinances, rezoning requests, which is also very big right now, issues of zoning and other official actions. So they hold public hearings, and these public hearings give residents a chance to speak before council, votes on certain issues such as like zoning, development, or major policy changes, or even the budget. This is where residents may speak to council about concerns, ideas, or issues affecting the community when it comes to public comments. I will say public comments are heard at council meetings on items that are already on the agenda. If it is, I don't want to confuse you either. Public comments can be addressed for anything going on only at work sessions. So if you have an issue within your community that you would like the council to hear about, you would address them at a work session. If you want to talk to something that's already on the agenda for the council meeting, you would go to a council meeting on Mondays. So how is this different from a work session? A work session is more like a study and discussion meeting, where a council meeting is where council takes formal action and votes. So work session is usually used for discussion and preparation, and council meeting is for official decision and votes. Next slide, please. I'd like to stop there if anyone has any questions or if anyone would like to raise their hand. All right, so this is just a very quick slide to show you the differences between the two meetings I just discussed. So they're both open to the public, all public meeting. At any time council meets, it's considered a public meeting and it's noticed as such by our office. So city council listens to citizens' affairs at the work session. City council hears public comments on items only on the agenda. So they discuss departmental agenda items at the work session. They review them again at the council meeting. They receive presentations at the work session. And the work sessions happen twice a month on Thursday afternoons. So for example, tomorrow we will have a work session starting at 1 o'clock that public comment can be received at. The budget retreat, however, in the morning will not be taking any public comment. For council meetings, it happens twice a month on Monday nights. So the next council meeting, we just had one on the 1st. Next one will be on June 15th. Next slide, please. Okay, so here is a way, a video that addresses how you are going to be able to sign up for city council work session dates and how you can sign up to speak and register. I believe that this video was recorded in Spanish. Perla, is that okay to display it in Spanish?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Maria, you can go ahead and
But I'm assuming on the website, they also have it available in English, right?
oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
and
Maria, you might
if
have to turn your-
they we will, yeah, we have this part in Spanish, and people, if you have a second screen and you want to navigate the city website right now, that's another option to do it. But this is where we explain the steps of how to get into this process.
Perhaps on the chat, you can put the website that you are on, the
I
link.
will, Lola, can you do that? Because I am sharing the screen.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
All right, so I'm just going to try to play the video. Hold on.
The sound isn't coming through, Maria.
No.
I'm sorry. Maybe I need to. I was on mute. Hold on. Let me see. Tell me, please, if now it works.
Okay. Mm-mm.
No.
No.
So what about I don't know, Lola, if you want to log in into the website and navigate it live. I think that will be probably better. I'm going to stop sharing, and so then people can
I'll
just
share my
see.
screen. Okay.
There you go.
That works.
Okay, I have it pulled up on mine, so and mine is actually showing. Mine can actually play it with sound, so I'll pull it up on mine. Sorry for the inconvenience, everyone.
No, this is life, like, you know. Mhm.
I'm trying to share. Here we go.
We're seeing your screen now. So.
Wonderful. All right, can you see everything I'm seeing?
Yep.
We're looking with the next slide animation on the side, so you might want to change the
Yeah.
view.
Do not know how to hide. Better?
There you go. That's it.
Vamos a Can you hear?
Primero vamos a cambiar todo.
Can you hear?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Para el idioma de español, usando este botón de Google Translate. Y vamos a la pestaña que dice gobierno y vamos a bajar a agendas, actas y video y audio. En este video primero te mostraré cómo acelerar las agendas en la ciudad de Durham, que muestran exactamente qué se discutirá en las sesiones de trabajo y reuniones del Consejo Municipal. Primero y luego, en segundo lugar, te mostraré cómo registrarte para hablar en una sesión de trabajo del Consejo Municipal. Aquí normalmente puedes encontrar la fecha de la próxima reunión, pero como dice en el centro de agenda, para las sesiones de trabajo, generalmente se publican la agenda el viernes anterior a cada sesión. Hoy es el miércoles, no lo van a hacer hasta el viernes que viene. Vamos a usar el 21 de marzo como por último persona. Pasará hacia abajo hasta llegar al centro del...
I'm sorry. Hold on. Apologies.
Antes,
There we go.
para las sesiones orador. En persona de la actitud del consejo. Que dice, vamos a hacer un señal como ejemplo. Normalmente no se traduce esta página, pero te puedo enseñar cómo traducirlo. Vamos a hacer un clic derecho en la agenda y te vas a bajar y aquí hay un botón que dice Translate a español. Y a ver, lo cambiaron todo en español. En esta misma página de la agenda es donde puedes registrarte para hablar en una reunión del Consejo Municipal. También hay otra forma de llegar a esta página. Debes registrarte antes de las 10 para hablar individualmente en las sesiones de trabajo del Consejo Municipal. Y si vas en persona, debes llegar antes de la 1 para completar una tarjeta de orador. Aquí es donde te vas a registrar en el reunión en que quieres hablar. Para las sesiones de trabajo tienes que registrarte antes de las 10 de la mañana y para las reuniones son antes de las 2. Y las sesiones pasen los jueves 2 veces al mes y las reuniones pasen 2 veces al mes.
I don't know why it keeps on cutting off. Apologies.
Voy a ir a mire o comente en una manera diferente. Te enseño. Si voy para atrás y voy a la pestaña de gobierno, voy a ir a mire o comente en reuniones y sesiones de trabajo. Y vamos a bajar y se toma un poco de tiempo para cambiarlo en español y vamos a bajar y aquí son las sesiones de trabajo. La oficina de la secretaria también recibe comentarios públicos por escrito para las reuniones sobre cualquier tema de la agenda en el que desees comentar. Esos comentarios también deben ser enviados antes de las 10 de la mañana del día de la sesión de trabajo. Y si oprimo aquí, te van a preguntar por la fecha de la reunión, el número de la tema en que quieres hablar y el comentario que quieres enviar para el concejal municipal para revisar.
Okay.
Vamos a
So, do we have any questions on that video? I apologize.
I would like to add a little bit. The reason we have this video in Spanish is because we normally try to provide this presentation to Spanish-speaking residents because obviously we want to have more participation of Latino Hispanic groups in those spaces. And we understand that sometimes we don't have that because of the language barrier. So as you know, it's by federal law that we need to provide interpretation services, language access for it. And in that specific area, just you know that the City of Durham, and in particular our department, is in charge of the language access services. And so every resident had the right at the moment that they enter into the city hall and the city departments to request an interpreter if they need it, if they want to talk about particular issue, if they want to participate in a city council meeting, if they want to go to a work session. And so that's why the navigation that Paola was explaining is to teach residents who only speak Spanish in this case how to navigate and how to request this interpreter and how to get the information in Spanish if they need it. Yes, Perla.
So this is great. I didn't realize that we had that opportunity. Do people contact someone ahead of time, and who do they contact? Or is it, because if you want to get something on the agenda, right? Like, who do you contact?
That's a great question, Perla. So items can only come from departments to be placed on the agenda or from a council member themselves. So if it's a community issue that, let's say, has an issue with transportation, that would have to come from the transportation department, make its way through vetting, through the deputy city manager, through legal, to finally make its way onto the agenda. So someone, just like a member of the public or a nonprofit organization, just can't walk in and place something on the agenda. Now, if you would like to come in and speak at a city council meeting, you can do so in a number of different ways. You can either come on Monday nights before the meeting and sign up to speak, or you can sign up to speak virtually, which was what that video was just showing you how to do.
Right.
If you wanted to speak virtually at a meeting, you would have to sign up before 2 p.m. on the date of the meeting that starts at 7 p.m. And then if it was a work session that you would want to speak virtually at, you would have to sign up by 10 a.m. on the day of the meeting. And if you access the City of Durham's website that I dropped in the chat, it explains all of this on the city website and shows you how to sign up for each of the meetings.
And so I would like to add something else, like the reason that we need people to need for the time to speak in a city council meeting beforehand, specifically for Hispanic Latino groups, is because we need to make sure that the interpreter is going to be available to be there. So when the time comes and the resident wants to speak about an issue that is related to the topics that are going to be addressed in the meeting, that person is going to have an interpreter. That actually Mortado, who's interpreting today, is actually our person there. And he will be on the side of this person interpreting and explaining what they're trying to say. So it's going to be simultaneous interpretation services at that time. So this is a way for residents to participate. However, I also want to give an example of something that just happened and that I wanted just to mention it as an example because that is, even though the topics come from departments and city manager and city council, that has to be in the agenda, like the residents in some way or another don't have power to decide, oh, I wanted that the city talk about this issue today. Doesn't work that way. However, there is a component of power and empowerment from the city residents when it comes to topics. And so the example I want to give to you for is where last year there was many houses affected for the Chantal flooding in District 2 close to the Inner River. That was a very huge problem that involved around 30 to 40 houses that were very close to the Inner River that they got flooded with water to the top of the roof. Okay, people had been moved from the area with the emergency service has to do a lot of work for them to be able to get out. And so that was a very impactful issue that affect residents in two particular neighborhoods around that base. And so what happened is that the residents in that neighborhood got together got together and talk in between each other and went to city council and talk about, hey, we have this issue. We lost our houses. We don't have enough. I mean, the state support us with, some funding, but still it was not enough. The insurance covers certain things, but still it was not enough. We are struggling. We want support. We need to see what the city can do, and we want to learn also what happened in the sense of this floating, and what component the city has some certain level of responsibility, for example, or in what level the county has certain level of responsibility. So they came together, they met each other as a neighborhood, then bring the concerns into a city council meeting. They spoke for 3 minutes about the issue with data collected. We say, like, there's 35 houses. They have been this way. The majority of people that are affected are seniors. We live in fixed income. We didn't receive enough income, etc., right? So obviously that is a topic that is very sensitive and critical at the moment. The city council had to hear what the residents have to say, and they appointed to the city manager to do the work. And so after that happens, the city manager ordered, for example, in my case, community engagement to go and assess the issues happening in the residence and neighborhood, and just to learn what is going on, what the impressions, what are the concerns, what are the various, everything that is happening, and bring these conversations to the city council for them to see what things or what components of decisions and processes has to be changed in order for them to better support these residents in a situation of this level of emergency, right? And so I think that this is an important example that I wanted to bring into this conversation, because that's how community residents really can be heard. And it's important to understand that in some way, when residents can come together, are more powerful than if a one resident come to a conversation, right? And so that's the piece of the work that I do in engagement, is just supporting community members, community groups, community leaders, in to get interconnected with other members and address an issue together when it comes to the city council, so then decisions can be made with a more meaningful way. And so that's another thing that I wanted to bring to this presentation, and also clarify that people only have 3 minutes to speak in those spaces. So 3 minutes can be very short, or 3 minutes can be very long, depending of how do you present. So when we do the workshops with Lola for residents, we really took the time to explain what the city council wants to hear. So they don't want to hear, or basically in any space, if you think deep about it, we don't want to hear people just complaining about what it doesn't work. Why this is not working? Why the road is this way? We just want to come with a concern, but with potential solutions, or with the different aspects of it. And so that is a more proactive way to come to the city council meetings, because that's how you can better receive positive impact into what is going on. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. I think that was a great summation of everything that we've been discussing so far. And Perla even asked, have we had good representation from our Latino residents at these meetings? And that's part of what Maria and I have been doing when we've been having these more focused workshops in the community, is showing them the impacts of what city council and the city manager do and their responsibilities, and also giving them the opportunity to go back and brainstorm what issues they would discuss happening in their communities and how they would discuss it, and giving feedback as to, can you shorten this to accompany that 3-minute time frame? So small baby steps, but I think things like this is great exposure. I think things like is definitely good for us to show that your voice can and will be heard in whatever language you prefer. So
thank you so much for doing that. That is,
yeah,
because, people are afraid, right? Or they're not sure what can be said, how it should be said. So thank you for advocating for our communities and giving our communities that confidence.
Right. And
yes,
of course.
yeah. And about Anne's question, what if my work schedule doesn't allow me to come to a meeting? How else could I submit my thoughts? That's also a writing statement that you can bring into this. And those are very powerful if you know how to write a letter to the city council about the issues. And those are more powerful when you bring it not only from your side, but with a bunch of signatures of people supporting your concern or your idea or your plan. So you absolutely have spaces and times when you can share these concerns. Again, that is another moment where if you cannot share the concerns at a city council, that's why you can also access to city council members to participate into your spaces so you can show them what the concerns are and what is happening. I also want to say that the city council never is asking if the person is legal or illegal in the country. The city council doesn't have any time for those things. They just want to hear residents that live in the city. So that's another piece that I really wanted to bring into this is like break that barrier of fear that if you go and speak and you don't feel that you have nothing to say just because you probably don't have the legality that you need, that's not a barrier in this case. And in these spaces, you can absolutely participate and share your concerns if those are affecting the quality of your life.
Mm-hmm. And also, I do want to say that we also accept written public comment on the City of Durham's website before every council meeting and work session as well. There is an area that we accept written public comment, and that's shared with the City Council directly. To be just, I know we're cutting it on time. We try to consolidate our presentation, so I see people are starting to drop off. Since Maria already explained an example of public comment, I'm just going to skip through these. And then I'll let her get to the one call slide, and we'll start trying to wrap up so we can try and catch any questions before we log off.
Perfect timing. Exactly, you're thinking like me. So I just really wanted to bring this extra additional piece into the conversation because I think that not everybody knows about these services that the city have. The Durham One Call line is a service that provides support to the residents in English and Spanish about different issues that are happening in the neighborhood. Many people are used to call to the Durham One Call when they have an issue, whether it's for the street, whether it's ordinances that are not provided, whether it's a complaint about services that haven't been done, whether it's the trash is not picking up. All the type of concerns that you see in the yellow side, those are things that you can absolutely call during one call. And we have a system that is submitting a ticket and people have a certain time to respond. So it's not that you submit a ticket and who knows when someone is going to talk to you back again. No, this is a very high demand service that has a very high quality of service where they have to submit a ticket and they need to address the issue right away. Otherwise, departments or employees responsible of those actions can get, other problems in the city, I will say, if they don't follow those. So, but the good thing about using the Durham One Call app is that when you navigate through the app, you will understand how big and how broad concerns you can bring into the conversation. And this is something that personally happened to me when I started using the app because I never did it before during all this time living here. When I can actually take a photo of a pothole that is on my street and send it over to the city, say, hey, this is happening in my neighborhood and this is broken for, I don't know, X, Y, and Z months. I need someone to address it. So obviously it's not that tomorrow they're gonna cover that pothole, but there's gonna be someone taking care of those and talking, connecting with you, learning more about what it is. And that's how things can be start getting into the connection of what to do and how to get involved, because that's when you start learning the complexities that happens in the city. The last thing I'm going to say before we ending is also the difference between the city and the county. And this is, we don't have any slide for that, but the city is in charge of all the things related to the city: police, planning department, transportation department, um, emergency safety department when it comes to the fire trucks and the emergency services, um, all the departments about the engagement, uh, you name it. What is the difference with the county? The county is in charge of the health department. The county is in charge of the school services. Everything about the schools are decisions based on the county. the county take care of the sheriff department and not the police department. That's why in some instances the sheriff is the person who gets involved in some issues in the school system because those are related to the county level. Those are things that we have no power of change. We have no participation or decision into it. And that is important because sometimes, specifically when things are happening in the health piece of issues or um, in the education system, unfortunately, the city doesn't have much power and or they things to say. So you would think that the city and the county are correlated. We work together. We are working on it. We are still, and it's a process because they both work in separate ways. The county receives a lot of federal funding in many things. So the way that they operate and now articulate things for residents is different than the city. And so those are also important topics to clarify at this time. And so this is basically what it's all about in this conversation. I just wanted to leave this. Understanding how your city works is one of the most powerful tools you have as a resident. City council decisions affect our neighborhoods, streets, parks, housing, public safety, and quality of life. So by attending meetings, staying informed, and sharing your voice, you help shape the future of your community. You don't need to be an expert to participate. Your experiences, ideas, and concerns matter. And civic engagement starts with showing up, asking questions, and becoming part of the conversation. So your voice can make a big difference. And so that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for your time. Um, whatever other questions you have, please let us know. As again, we do this workshop in a month, like 4 classes that we normally provide to community groups. So we're trying to put all those into 1 hour presentation. So hope that we kind of cover the most important pieces.